First, I want to start off by describing myself. I'm James Peak. Of course, you saw my discussion boards, but I live here in Owensboro, Kentucky. I don't live in or Bowling Green or on the campus. I take the online campus and really enjoy it because I do work 60 hours a week. But first, that comes along with it, my ethical dilemma. It's like the worst one I've ever faced in my entire life so far, and I think it'll be a top five by the end of my life. Uh, it had to do with work, and of course, I work with my brother and my best friend as well. We were just going throughout the day, and my brother sensed something odd. It was definitely a bell ringer to me. Um, it happened to be that our friend and our fellow coworker was stealing from our company. Me being a manager of the company, I had a huge dilemma on my hand. What decision to make, of course. Me and my brother had to deal with it in a appropriate manner, in an ethical manner. So first, we couldn't just tell on him. We wanted to find evidence or have evidence so we don't incorrectly accuse him of something or falsely accuse him of something. We just want to make sure. So that night we discussed it and we went ahead and just set him up to where to see if he would steal again. We had the certain he would hide the receipts and so on. So we both would go away during the time he would sell, and of course he was stealing. So that night we discussed, and we were also disgusted. That's our fellow coworker and my best friend for 8 or 9 years. It was just completely shocking. Um, so after we got done talking, we called the owner, who we are super close with. I date his granddaughter, so that's the other thing. I have my best friend and I have my future grandfather-in-law. I mean, it was a dilemma. So we call him, set up a meeting. We show him all the evidence and tell him what was happening. He was disgusted as well. We could never expected this. We definitely sat down. We talked for a good hour and a half for what we needed to do. He gave us two options. Either we can try to force or scare him ourselves to where he wouldn't do it again, pretty much just catch him. We could do that, or we could just fire him. Me and my brother were so disgusted that we just were leaning towards firing him. It's I feel like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen again and again and again, no matter how. He wouldn't take us seriously either. I'm his best friend, and also that's my brother. We're all about the same age group. So I feel like if we were trying to scare him, it would just continuously happen. So the owner had to go to a out of town the next day. So that was kind of odd as well. I had to act like I didn't know anything, and it was just odd being able to talk to him, and I still had to keep my eye out on him just in case of future sales being stolen. So that day was really odd. So the day of the firing, which we were all brought into a meeting and had to sit down and show him the proof and ask him why he did this, and it was very horrible. It was a real sad part of my life. But it's something I've grown upon making these ethical decisions. I do it every day in business, especially with customers. Doing what's right. The owner always tells us make the customer happy before we we can always make ourselves happy, but making one customer mad, it will ruin 10 other customers because they'll tell them to go somewhere else because we made the ethical decision leaning towards us instead of them. But that was my dilemma. It was I'm a big, heavy, I think a lot, and if I have a problem, like I said on my discussion board, I continuously think about it and think about it and try to think of all the best consequences that we learned in the book. Um, so what I faced right there was probably one of the most challenging parts of my life, and I believe I did the best case. I'm still friends with him, still talk to him, but it was very troubling, and I will grow on that. Thanks.